Tonight, nearly a dozen accused violent gang members are now off Minneapolis streets. They face a series of charges.
Ooh, it's going down in Minneapolis.
And federal prosecutors say they're part of a gang that has terrorized North Minneapolis for about 20 years.
The existence of the Lowe's gang constitutes a threat to the sanctity
Lowe's
of
gang.
human life.
And that's why U.S. Attorney Andrew Luger says his office worked to take down 11 of them. These people face charges for a variety of crimes ranging from murder to drug and gun trafficking. Prosecutors say their crimes spanned from 2021 until earlier this year and included shooting and killing rival gang members. But investigators say they also took aim at innocent bystanders.
Between 2021 and 2024, North Minneapolis was shaken by a wave of bloodshed. Gunfire ripped through gas stations, food trucks, and neighborhood parties. Some of the victims were rival gang members. Others were innocent people who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. At the center of it all was a violent street crew known as the Lowe's. Federal prosecutors say this group turned entire blocks into battlegrounds, leaving 10 people dead and many more wounded in just a few years. For the community, it felt like living in a war zone. For investigators, it became the foundation of one of the largest gang RICO cases Minnesota has ever seen. This is the story of the Lowe's. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe.
We in the Lowe's, Minneapolis.
The Lowe's are a North Minneapolis street gang, active since at least 2004. They control territory south of West Broadway Avenue, one of the city's central dividing lines. Their primary rival is the Highs, who operate north of Broadway.
So they called the Lowe's, and they beef with the niggas called the Highs. Like, hey.
This multi-decade-long beef started in 2004 following the murder of a Lowe's gang member named Christopher Little. Since then, there have been countless tit-for-tat shootings. The Lowe's are more than just a crew of shooters. Federal prosecutors call them an enterprise. A criminal organization that trafficked drugs and firearms, did carjackings, and enforced loyalty through intimidation and murder. Within the Lowe's are smaller cliques like the Skid Squad, who carried out much of the ground-level violence. Together, they created an identity based on fear, retaliation, and control of their turf. In just a 3-year span, they killed 10 people in cold blood in order to maintain control of the Minneapolis streets.
Granted, it was a 10-year span, but that's still a lot, though.
A 19-year-old man named George Zion was pumping gas at the Amstar gas station on West Broadway when a car pulled up and 2 individuals hopped out. The 2 men walked into the store, then came out and made a beeline towards George. Once they were face-to-face with George, they started pressing him and asking him about his gang affiliation. That's when things would turn sour. According to a federal indictment, a Lowe's member that was 17 at the time, named Albert Lucas, pulled out a gun and shot George multiple times. George's girlfriend was right there with him at the time of this incident, so after shooting George, Albert and his associate started shooting at the girl. Thankfully, she was not hit by any of the gunfire. Albert and his associate then fled the scene. George was rushed to North Memorial Hospital.
Was he even an affiliate?
Passed away from his injuries hours later. This was only the beginning of a string of murders for the Lowe's.
Yeah, definitely. Elo Lomax.
On April 27, 2022, a man named Elo Lomax was sitting in a car in the 3300 block of Knox Avenue North when a dark-colored sedan pulled up and someone...
Bro, y'all can't be out there liking while it's cracking. Y'all can't just be at the gas stations, this all willy-nilly, this not paying attention to what's going on, especially if you in a gang territory, if you got ops and all that. You can't be just lacking at the gas station or just sitting in your car like just not paying attention to what's going on. That's how you get caught slipping. That's how you get put on a t-shirt. You know, rest in peace to the victims, but like, you can't be doing that, bro, if you in a war. It's not good, man.
Inside the sedan fired multiple shots into Elo's car. Officers arrived shortly afterwards and pronounced Elo dead on the scene.
Was he
Elo was allegedly an associate of a subset of the Highs called K Block. Prosecutors believe that this is why he was allegedly killed by members of a Lowe's subset called the Donner Boys. The Lowe's would follow this incident with a heinous double homicide less than 1 month later.
Damn, it's getting cracking, wasn't it?
On May 14, 2022, two men named Kayvon Williams and Makonda Robinson were near a food truck on the corner of West Broadway and Bryant Avenue when gunmen pulled up and started shooting in their direction. Both of them were hit and the shooter fled the scene. Both of them would sadly pass away from their injuries, with Kayvon being pronounced dead at just the age of 21 and Makonda being pronounced dead at just the age of 51. A Lowe's member named Glenn Carter would eventually get charged with this double murder. He allegedly targeted Kayvon because he was allegedly a member of the Highs gang subset K Block. Makonda was an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire.
That's
in
crazy.
Truly horrific fashion, the Lowe's would commit another double homicide just 5 days later.
Damn, they are killing double homicides. Just crazy.
On May 19, 2022,
no
a man
time.
named Damon Rhodes and a woman named Aranezia Clark were riding in a blue sedan near 36th Avenue and Crystal Lake at a traffic light when another vehicle pulled up beside them and someone inside fired at least 15 rounds into their car. The suspects then fled the scene, and police would later find the suspect's vehicle abandoned in North Minneapolis. Damon was pronounced dead at just 28 years old, and Aranezia was pronounced dead at just 24 years old. Members of the Lowe's would eventually be charged with these murders, and this incident was listed in their federal indictment.
That's because them niggas didn't burn the evidence. They went and did this. They found the car. They probably left all type of evidence, shell casings, all that. You know, niggas don't be thinking, bro. They just be doing shit. Just go out here doing hits and don't even think about what happens next. They don't plan it out. They just, all right, we just gonna go out here and look for the ops and, we spot them. Boom, 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 boom. Dish the car. Don't do no wipe down, nothing, get rid of evidence. That's why y'all get caught.
The senseless killing wouldn't stop there.
Damn, they get.
On April 27, 2023, a man named Isaiah Lee was sitting in a parked car at the intersection of North 21st and Bryant Avenues when a Dodge Charger drove through the area, then turned back around. Once the Charger drove back around, the person
should have got up out of there.
passenger seat stuck a gun out the window and fired over a dozen shots from a fully automatic weapon into Isaiah's car. Isaiah was severely injured and rushed to the hospital, where he passed away days later at just the age of 28. The Charger then sped away. However, cell phone data would later place members of the Lowe's at the scene of the murder at the time it happened. A Lowe's member named Shannon Jackson was one of the people charged. Later in the year, they would commit another terrible murder. On November 6, 2023, at around 9:45 p.m., shots rang out on the 3300 block of DuPont Avenue North. A group of 3 men were shot, but one in particular, 20-year-old Antonio Harper, was struck multiple times and collapsed in the street. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Prosecutors alleged the killers arrived in a vehicle driven by a Lowe's member named Johan Lynch, with other Lowe's members opening fire on a group of Highs members. The 2 other Lowe's members with Johan that night were named Albert Lucas and Devont Moore, and they're believed to be the other gunmen in this incident.
I'm about to say, that's the second time.
A month later, they would accidentally kill one of their own members during a wild shootout.
Damn.
On December 3rd, 2023, Damari Douglas, Devont Moore, and 4 other Lowe's members attended a party in Minneapolis. After leaving the party, the group was walking down a street when they began firing at a passing vehicle that drove past them on Grand Avenue South. During the shooting, one of them accidentally shot one of their own members, a 20-year-old man named Tyshawn Lyons. Surveillance footage allegedly shows Devont and Damari standing behind Lyons as they fired among the group. Tyshawn is seen on the video collapsing to the ground at the moment he comes between Damari and the SUV. Police responding to the scene found Tyshawn shot in the back of the head. He was taken to Hennepin County Medical Center for treatment, but died 3 days later. Both Devont and Damari
got charged with that murder.
Fire murder. On February 27, 2024, a 34-year-old man named Pierre Miller was amongst a group of people near the 800 block of East Franklin Avenue when multiple gunmen pulled up and opened fire. 3 people, including Pierre, were hit by gunfire. Pierre sadly passed away from his injuries, while the 2 other victims survived. Those members, Albert Lucas, Victor Collins, and Antonio Timberlake, would ultimately get charged with this murder.
Damn, did
But
these
this
niggas even
ruthless
get any
killing
get
spree
back?
going on and creating havoc
Man, that's
across
the third time the other
Minneapolis,
nigga done
the
been mentioned in the
feds would
video.
eventually come knocking. For years, investigators quietly pieced the puzzle together. Ballistics linked shell casings from one crime scene to another. Stolen cars used in drive-bys were traced back to gang members. Cell phone records showed the same defendants circling murder scenes at the exact moment shots were fired. To law enforcement, these weren't isolated shootings anymore. There were threads in a single violent web. On October 30th, 2024, federal prosecutors finally made
the
their
hammer on
ruling.
them niggas.
In a sweeping indictment, 11 alleged members of the Lowe's were charged under the RICO Act. Less than a year later, on August 26, 2025, the case grew even larger. A superseding indictment added 3 more defendants and tied the crew to 10 murders committed between 2021 and 2024. For those charged, the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted, many face mandatory life sentences. Please stay out of the streets.
On me, stay out the streets, my boy. But I think that the ops getting get back, and all I'm saying is the ops getting spent on. They ain't say none of them. You know, I don't wish that upon nobody, but like, damn, where was the get back at? Y'all was just getting spent on. Like, y'all like that's 10 murders, bro. Y'all ain't get back at them. It's crazy, but you feel me? Like this is the streets, bro. It's crazy, bro. Y'all niggas be spending with y'all phone on y'all. Like y'all live in the city, bro. Y'all should know where y'all going, bro. Y'all don't need y'all phones on y'all. Y'all leaving evidence, stolen car, like just stay out of the streets, bro. We ain't no more spending and hopping out on niggas broad daylight or doing shootings, bro. No more. Can't do it. It ain't the time for that no more, man. But y'all like you said, rest in peace to all them victims, man. You know, like and comment, let me know your thoughts on the video, man. Catch y'all on the next one. We out.